Hello and welcome to another very exciting episode of Impact and Coffee with me, your host, Charles Oddy. At Impact and Coffee, we answer questions posed by entrepreneurs, and we do this by speaking to doers, popularly known as entrepreneurs, who have rolled up their sleeves and getting work done in the continent of Africa. And we also discuss their impact in their local communities and the impact of their work across the world. Today, I have with me a very exciting entrepreneur. His name is MR Saidu. Mubarak,
Yes,
how are you
Charles.
today?
Fine. Great.
Welcome to Impact and Coffee.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Mubarak is a very interesting entrepreneur. Mubarak is the founder of DMX Logistics, DMX Solutions. He's also a director at the SmartBeam Nigeria Limited and SmartBeam International School, and also the founder of SmartBeam Sport Arena, something that you popularly refer to as Jack of all trade. Mubarak, do you like to be referred to as Jack of all trade? You know, because I met someone very recently who said that he doesn't like to be referred to as a serial entrepreneur, and I asked him why, and he said he wants to be known for one thing, but you are doing several things. Do you want to be known for several things, or you want to be known for just one thing?
I wish I could be known for one thing. It's easier. It's a tough job doing multiple things. And I hate that word serial entrepreneur.
You do as well. You don't
I
like
don't
it.
like the word.
Right.
So I just want to be known as an entrepreneur. Yes, I'm into a lot of things, and it's just because I'm a restless person. That's my nature. I can't be tied into one thing. Immediately I'm doing something, naturally I'm getting bored, and I want to get to do the next thing.
Okay, let's talk about your background. Tell us, who is Mubarak? Where did you go to school? What professional background did you have before venturing into entrepreneurship?
Okay. I went to University of East London, BSc Accounting and Finance, and my master's in Business and Entrepreneurship, International Business and Entrepreneurship.
Right.
I'm also a chartered accountant.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
SCCA chartered.
Right.
SCCA
Interesting.
chartered. So I had to finish up with my educational qualifications first, but during that period, I started with business. I started with business in 2010.
Okay.
Then I started working at during my youth service, Nexim Bank, Nigeria Export and Import Bank.
Right.
Then I worked at Coronation Merchant Bank for almost 2 years before I decided to venture into business full time.
How long were you at the Nexim Bank?
1 year.
And how long were you at the
1 year,
Merchant
7
Bank?
months.
So approximately 3 years.
Yeah.
So you spent 3 years of your life working at the bank, and then you ventured. You went straight right into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. It's a very popular question, and I try to answer it in my book here. Having spent approximately 3 years in the banking sector, when did you know it was the right time to quit your job and venture into entrepreneurship?
Every time I was going to work, I knew one day I wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
It's since 2010 when I did a business where I just made money without doing nothing. I decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't know when. Two Nigerian auto. I read a lot of business books.
Right.
So my dad exposed me to a lot of business books. But my dad is not a businessman, but he exposed me to a lot of business books. And one day, I read 2 Nigerian business books.
One day you read the books?
Yes, within 2 days. I was going to Abuja from work. I'm coming back the weekend, just Friday to Sunday. So I read Working on a Dream by G. Fagburi. I think was a co-founder in Jumia. And I read Aki Anabi's book, Small Business, Big Money. That changed my life. Like, I decided at that point I'm resigning for no reason.
Really?
I didn't know what business to do. I didn't know what to do. I had my auto business on the side. I had a few other businesses on the side. But I just decided I'm quitting. And I'll give it a try. Give myself another 2 years to venture into business and take the risk.
Okay, so it was after accumulating knowledge from business books that you decided to quit your job and venture into entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the then when you got out, when you quit your job. What was the first thing you started?
Okay, when I quit my job, I was about to quit. One of my boss advised me that why not try what's the name of this stuff when instead of you resigning, leave of absence.
Okay.
So he told me, take leave of absence. Don't just quit. At least take time. So I took leave of absence for 2 months. After that time, I broke my arm too. So I gave that as an excuse for treating myself and taking care of my health. 1 month after, it was just my birthday. On my birthday, I didn't know what business to do. I was restless researching, and on my birthday, I said, "What am I celebrating?" No, I'm doing a business. And my sister, Craft House NG, she has grown her business for more than a year, and she had a bike for her business, which she uses for logistics on the side. I said, "Why don't I just do this logistics? Can you send your rider to me? Let me just start. Just tell me which people you can refer to me and everything." And she just gave me the bike, and that's how I started. Within 1 week, I realized there were people requesting for this service, calling me. I was so busy already. And that's how I just decided to
So
go
you
into
started your
logistics.
logistic business with one bike.
Yeah, we won.
Right? And
With my
today-
sister's bike, actually.
It's your sister's bike, and today you've grown from that one bike, one location in Lagos to several locations across the
Several
nation.
locations and several other services.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's talk about that logistics business that you started. So what exactly was different from your logistics business and the one that you could find everywhere else?
What's different in my logistics business is the way I manage the people. It's more of business leadership. So I inspire my team to work, and I try to our goal is to bring genius to logistics.
Okay.
So we solve problems. I make my team think, let's solve this problem for these customers. What are the operational problems? Then we now add technology after solving those problems to build.
Because of the business you do, which is technology and the auto business, you're always working with artisans, people in the informal sector. And I've interacted with them, and I've seen how committed they are to your business. What's the formula for that? How were you able to get dropouts of schools and people in the informal sector to be committed to something that's bigger than them?
That is a big job to do. So as at the time when I was starting, I thought it was impossible. I had no option than to get people that I would train because I could not afford to pay salaries. I started with a very lean budget. I didn't start my business with a lot of cash.
Yeah, a lot of small businesses are like that.
So because of that, I had to look for people in the informal sector. Apart from the riders, even some of my staff, maybe they just are home doing nothing. So I just had to pick them out. And managing them, the best thing to do is just to make them believe in themselves. That's what I've realized. Come to their level. If you're discussing with a rider, a security guard, just try to bring yourself to their shoes. Don't try to be one top boss that talks to them. It irritates them.
Really?
Yes, it does. So no matter, once you get connected to them, they have their own challenges because of poor education and poor exposure. They can't think for themselves. So they are always happy when they see people that can think for them and direct them. Immediately they trust you, they will always come to you because you will listen. But the moment they know when they come to you, you won't listen, they will just make rash decisions.
Okay, let me ask you about this bringing yourself down to the level of your employees, especially those in the informal sector, those who are like dropouts and artisans. If you run a big academy, let's say the Nanny Academy, for instance, where your job is to hire nannies and send them to people's different homes, and you have over hundreds, sometimes tens of hundreds of them, how then can you bring yourself to the level of every one of them and be able to get them to come to you and listen to you?
If you cannot manage 100, you need other managers.
Right.
But every manager has to understand each and only one of them because they have challenges. You cannot solve their problems. They will always come with funny complaints and all that. So the best thing to do is to allow them to always talk to you. Let them always open up to you. Because immediately they open up to you, you'll start noticing if one is trying to be a thief or trying to play games. So it's about understanding human behavior. Because the way they think is different from the way an educated person thinks. If I employ people that have BScs and MScs at work, when I'm working with my colleagues at the bank, they are thinking about their career and trying to progress their career. But an artisan is not thinking about that. If you chase an artisan away, the artisan will go somewhere else and look for another job, and there's no background check like in Nigeria. So it's always a difficult thing in Nigeria because of no data to know what has this person done in the past at the workplace.
Yes.
So a rider comes to me and says, the way I was working, my madam just vex on me, no pay me salary, all those things. I always know it's a lie. Sometimes it may be true, but most times they just create any story they want. And there's no way to verify.
Okay. So now we're talking about dealing with artisans and people in the informal sector. So the first thing you said is come down to that level, listen to them, and they will open up to you. What else did you do that worked?
Then lead them in a way that they believe in you. Incentive to don't make incentives too regular, especially additional incentives.
Please explain that.
So if you're passing by, I'll give you an example of a security guard at a gate, maybe in an estate gate. If you're passing every day and you're giving the security guard maybe 100 naira every single day, the security guard will get entitled. So, and because of poor education, they get so entitled. The day you don't give them 100 naira for 2 or 3 days, they feel like you're a bad person.
Really?
Yes, that's exactly how they think. I speak to them a lot, so I know exactly how they think. They feel like you're a bad person, that now maybe they've done something wrong and you just don't like them anymore. But if you make it very irregular, you come in one day, you greet them, just be nice to them, you greet them, you let them go, oh, how far, how is everything? Then one day, you just give them like 200 or 500 or 1,000, let me just say, or 500. You don't give them anything for like a few days again, and you just keep greeting them. As far as you're nice to them, they won't feel that way. They still feel like you're a nice person because that's exactly what you've given them. So another day, without them expecting it, you give them something again. That's the way to incentivize them. So let's say a nanny, and you also tie it to their work. For my riders, instead of me just giving them money, let's say they're supposed to complete a certain number of deliveries. I can say if you complete this number of deliveries without this much issues like customers' complaints, I'll give you something.
Right.
So it makes them achieve that goal.
Okay. So this irregular incentivization, how did it work for you? Did you did you practice it? Did you give your riders or your painters, your panel beaters, do you give them tips irregularly?
Yes, I do. So once in a while, they cannot predict when I'll give them a tip that is outside work.
So how do you know when to give them a tip that is outside work?
I just make it irregular. I just make it like once it comes to my mind or when I notice that things are going on well.
Okay.
And when I go there, most times, I may not give anybody anything, but I will come to their level, talk to them. They expect something. That's exactly how they think. They expect me to just give them something. I will not give them anything. I may go there 3 times. Maybe on the second day, I give them something. On the third and fourth day, I don't give them anything. Or 5th day, maybe another week again before I even try to give them something. Because they will feel like you must always give them. That's the mistake a lot of people do. So you may spoil them by giving them something every single day.
Okay. So so you said 2 things. So you said, one, come down to the level of the people you're dealing with. If you're dealing with people in the informal sector. Number 2, make the compensation irregular. Is there any other thing that you've tried that worked for you, especially because you deal with over a dozen of these people?
That's majorly what works. Every other thing is just normal things depending on the job structure.
Okay.
In nanny now, you want to go extra mile to do some level of insurance or cameras.
Okay.
So for a rider, I know that they have such risk, so I'm going to do insurance because I've had the rider had an accident before. So I have to watch out for the insurance and also for the worst case scenarios of a rider misbehaving. What are the things I can protect myself on? Because you can't. They are human beings. You don't know what's in their mind.
Yeah.
No matter how nice you are to them, they may do something that may affect you. So the best thing to do is to edge yourself with insurance.
Okay. Fantastic. So edge yourself with insurance. You've been doing this business for 5 years, right? I want to talk about your early years in, when you started to where the business is right now, because I know that the business is currently generating over $250,000. Let me ask you, you've spoken about accidents with one of your riders. Can you share with us what exactly happened in that and what was the biggest lesson you learned from that?
That taught me a lot of lessons. Number 1, on the day the rider had the accident, customers were saying that we must deliver the items on that day.
Right.
I remember calling 4 customers and begging them that this rider is feeling, I feel some type of way and the weather is bad, his bike has been bad all day, that can we deliver this item the next day? Every customer said they want the items that day. And the rider went and had an accident. So number 1 lesson is there's nothing that is in a hurry. Even in life. Yes, you can try your best, but there's no hurry. So immediately they had the accident, all customers didn't get the item till the next 3 days because police was with the bike. There's no way they could get their goods, and at the end of the day,
Are they perishable goods?
not non-perishable.
Okay.
So the next thing that happened was the rider himself breaking his leg. That was my 3rd month of starting a business with a lean budget. And I had to spend a lot of money taking care of this rider. At the end of the day, the only thing that saved me was because it was February, Valentine's Day, we had a bit more sales, which would cover for that loss. So since that day, I took insurance more serious. Because if I had insured the rider, I won't lose that much money.
So at that time, there was no insurance.
There was no insurance.
Rider?
I didn't take insurance serious. I didn't think all those things serious.
So your biggest lesson then was insurance.
Biggest lesson insurance, and there's nothing in your hurry.
And there's nothing in your hurry.
After then, I stopped pick and drop immediately because it puts the rider under pressure. Yes, it works for some people. Go-Kada, if you run a Go-Kada model, fine. But a normal model is very difficult because at the end of the day, you're risking this rider's life for 1,000 naira, which is good money every time it comes up. But how many 1,000 naira does it make? So the best thing we do is, because of that incident, I changed my model to pick up items in the morning and move out. So the rider's mind is structured. It's not, I just call you by 2 a.m., go to this place, go pick up. And I think that's where a lot of online vendors are getting it wrong. If you go UK, US, yes, we have a different market. UK, US, you can't order an item in London, and get it the same day.
All right.
So why? Because first, even as a vendor, you need to prepare your inventory.
But do you pay extra to get the same day?
Yeah, you can pay extra. As I say, Go-Kada model works. Because the Go-Kada model works in a way like Uber, where the bikers are a lot and are scattered everywhere. If you don't have that, it's difficult. You have just 3 or 4 bikes and you're running same model with a company that has almost 1,000 bikes.
Yeah.
So it won't work.
Right. Okay, let's talk about your model for a bit. So how many bikes do you own currently?
I don't know bike.
You own 0 bike.
0 bike.
And you're running a business that generates a revenue of over 250,000.
I'm asset light now.
Okay, so how then did you position yourself to own a bike and still generate so much?
So we had to switch model. I said we started with understanding the operations, logistics. So after understanding the operations for 2 years, we started partnering with people, with companies, and being in the middle. Then we did the same thing with the individuals, the riders. We made them their own boss. Some of them went through a bike hire model. Some riders have their own bikes that partnered with us. So we just in the middle, ensuring that they do their job, we do our jobs, ensure that they are insured, or everything they need to do their jobs, we equip them with it. And for the customers, we make sure that we give them as much good customer service as we can to retain the customers and ensure that we can cover all grounds. Because I own no bike now, I partner with DHL, GIG, airlines, everything, and I can do import, exports, nationwide deliveries, and local deliveries in Lagos and Abuja without owning anything.
Nice. So you get the riders, you equip them with the bikes?
I don't equip them with bikes. I only did that for 3 riders, some of the riders,
Okay.
last year.
Okay.
All of them now own the bikes.
Okay, so they all own their bikes.
Everyone owns their bike. I'm not buying any bike for any rider anymore.
So why do they come to you rather than go somewhere else?
Because they make more money with me.
How do they make more money with you?
I target bulk customers, and because they know if they work elsewhere, they will keep moving around. They go back, forth. So my delivery is very organized. So I get customers orders like in Lagos before 9, 10.
Okay.
Very organized, 100, 200 deliveries. The rider divides them into how they want to go, and they go up. If you're going to Ikeja axis, you're going to Ikeja axis with about 30 to 40, 50 deliveries. It's easier for you than going back, forth. So you end up making more money. So they get their percentage from the deliveries according to how much I charge them, how much they charge the company, and I charge the customer my the additional margin. So I just make my margin, they make their money.
Fantastic. Okay, let's talk about vis-a-vis owning or paying salaries. So when you paid your bikers or the riders salaries, and now where it feels like they own the bikes, how many deliveries were they doing then and how many deliveries are they doing now? Are they more motivated to work? What model actually works better?
100% more motivated to work. When I used to pay salaries, if I give a rider 12 to 15 deliveries, they will come. Okay, I won't die. This Lagos is no easy. This. The day I started this model, my rider delivered 25 deliveries. I was shocked. I said, easy, Raphael. You guys can do 25 deliveries. They said, oh God, I just want our money now. I said, right now, each of my riders deliver between 30 to 50 deliveries a day. That's their capacity. The best rider does 40 to 50. The next ones do between 20 to 35, 40 a day without any issues.
Wow. So that means, so when they feel like they're working for themselves, they're more motivated to work
Yes.
rather than when they work for someone.
And they were willing to obey your instructions. Because right now, they're making a lot of money. I pay them weekly. If you disobey my instruction, I can kick you out, or somebody else will take your place. Because I'm not marketing to look for a lot of riders more. So they can make a lot. So if I start seeing more customers coming in, I get new riders. So I'm not diluting their... I even arrange them according to how good you are to the company. So they have a ranking system in the company.
Do they know about the
They
ranking
know
system?
about the ranking system. They know there's the top 4 guys. There's the other guys.
So are they competing to displace the top 4 guys?
So I've created that model.
What's the metrics for being top 4?
First, the guys that have been with me for long.
Okay.
Those are the top 4
Experience
guys.
with you.
Experience with me. Then the second is also not committing a lot of offenses like damaging customers' item, delivering wrongly, and maybe all these delivery challenges, and obeying our instructions. So immediately you start getting there was a guy that we kicked out in November. He's back in January, but he's still shaking between 4 and 5. Because immediately you resume, they start damaging customers' item, and immediately you damage customers' item is out of your money. We deduct from your salary, your weekly wages. So there's nothing on us. We just ensure that everyone gets the job done. We let you know you are the master of delivery. We are the master of getting the customers' orders. And we are the master of directing you to deliver. That's all we do.
Fantastic. So you get the orders, and you choose what bikes or what riders deliver it based on when they've sorted it out. Those who are going to Keja go to Keja with all the deliveries for Keja. Those who are going to the Victoria Island Axis do the same thing. Yeah. That's good. My next question is with dealing with the customers. How do you handle the difficult customers? The customers who want it now, the customers who are actually very erratic on the phone. You know how they say customers are king, but some of these customers are actually, for let me use a better word, they're actually unbearing. So how do you deal with difficult customers?
That's the one big challenge in logistics. You have to handle difficult customers. So I speak to my team every day. Yes, customers are kings. There's nothing we can do about them. They pay our salaries. Without them, we're nothing. So regardless of what happens, just keep pleading and explaining. Those are the only 2 things you can do as customer service. You may not have a solution to it because you're not the rider, you're not DHL, you're not the airline. We have challenges right now where airlines are with items and they've not delivered. Customers are threatening, trying to call us out. We keep begging and pleading, but there's nothing you can do. So the best is to try to solve the problem. But when you're speaking to the customer, you just come to their level and keep pleading because you can't do anything to an unbearing customer. As at that time, is either they're under pressure themselves or they can't handle the shock or any negative thing that happens to their item. So the best is to keep explaining, begging, and just be on. Because if you call DHL now as a big company, the customer service person does not know who the rider is. But they pick the call, they don't even know, they just check the system and say, oh, don't worry, man, we'll get it done. But you keep shouting, yelling at DHL. You say, don't worry, man, I'm very sorry, don't worry, I'll look into it. That's all the person will say.
Okay, so you've taught your riders or you've taught your employees
that's the best thing. There's nothing you can do. You can't get angry. Don't let the emotion get to you because my customer service guys are also human beings. So sometimes when I get new staff, he says, I'm scared, I cannot talk to this customer. They drop the phone. They literally drop the phone, and if some people start crying in the office, some people, guys, girls, they can't start crying because customers will scream at you, curse you, I'll threaten you, I'll use police to arrest you. There's nothing they've not said to me or any of my staff. So I just tell them, there's nothing you can do. You're the one.
Who do you say there's nothing you can do to? The customer or
no,
the employees?
To the employees. There's nothing you can do. You can only keep begging and explaining the situation to the customer. Always find new ways to explain. Oh, I'm very sorry, ma. I understand you're supposed to get your item. I'm very sorry the rider didn't get it to you, but we'll get it to you tomorrow. What's the assurance, ma? I will assure you I will do everything in my power to ensure that you get done. Let's assume you not do it. Everything in your power, and the rider does not get it done the next day. What would you do? Now you feel like you don't have control of the rider, as at that point, let's say the rider has issues beyond your powers. What would you do? You have to still explain to the customer. But after that, when you solve it, you now find a way to solve it. That what made this happen? So we don't have to keep explaining. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing you can do. There are some situations that are beyond us, just like COVID. COVID is beyond everyone. Yeah. Can you do anything about it?
No.
You have to cope with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, thank you. Before we let you go, I think I understand, and I like the way that you've dealt with this members of the labor force in the informal sector, dropouts, artisans, and the way I love the way that you structured their commitment to your business, and it's something worth looking at. So, what is next for you? What's next for DMX Logistics? Your import, export, nationwide, local. What's the next frontier for you?
Now we have all operations done. The next thing is to scale. And the easiest way to scale is technology. So from day one of my business, I counted my business as a logistics tech company. I didn't think of my business as just a logistics company. So the first thing we did was always keep records. That was the minimum tech we could do. I could not develop any website or any web app. So the minimum tech we could do was just to ensure that we have records on Google Sheets and ensure that we have many easy technologies to use like WhatsApp to communicate to customers and all that. So now we're moving to dmxlogistics.ng, where we'll have a very nice web app where customers can log in, track their items, and we want to work more with technology. So if we could get more investments in technology where we could scale faster, it would help.
So before now, how if I wanted to place an order, how do I go about it? Do I just call your phone or send you a WhatsApp message or send you an email?
WhatsApp and Instagram.
Okay.
And probably call. But we prefer WhatsApp because there's evidence. So when you call us, we answer your inquiries. We still direct you back to WhatsApp or Instagram.
So now you want to build like an app where people can just send their deliveries?
If we can afford an app, why not? But right now we can't afford an app.
So now when you say technology driven, the future is going to be technology driven. What do you mean?
Yeah, app, anything technology that can fast track things. Apps are the best, but they're expensive.
Right.
So it's not something we can afford. So we're starting with a web app, which is cheaper for us, and at the same time still doing the job. It's just for you to type the website, and we're making it very mobile friendly, so it's very easy to use on the phone. Immediately we can afford an app, definitely we'll jump on an app.
Okay, so I know you have the DMS Logistics, you have the DMS Solutions for the car business. You are a member of the board for your family business, and you also have some commitment to family business. These are like 4 different entities. How are you able to run all of them so much so that they're profitable?
First is structure.
Structure.
Business works with structure. There's nothing you can do. You need human being. Structure is processes, people, and system. So these are the 3 things you keep looking at every single day. So what systems do we have that can make it work? What type of people can I hire? And what processes do they need to get the work done? So that's just what I do every day. I don't bother myself about every single thing up down there. So I just want to ensure that, like the school, we had challenges in the school for a while where we had complaints, and I had to stay in the school for a month plus. Did a lot of research with a consultant. I got the consultant. We started doing the research. We spoke to every single teacher in the school and discovered where the issues were. And we fixed it. And after then, we employed a new head of school, and everything just came back smooth. The last 3 months in the school was like 1 year because everything was smooth. I had no complaints anymore. Things were going as smooth and everything.
Fantastic. So, but have there been times where the family needed you because you're a member of, it's a family business and you're a member of the board, and then there are times that DMX Logistics, which is your baby, your startup needs you? Are there in those kind of times?
Every time.
So how do you mitigate against that?
I just try. I'm human. I go as much as I can with my limits because it happens every time, just like the time I was in the school for a month plus. And that's where technology helps. So if you don't put your business on, if you don't train people to get into technology, you won't be able to run multiple businesses. So most times after the first 2 years, I started trying to run my business remotely, my logistics business, which is my baby. So most times I'll just stay in a coffee shop instead of me being in the office, close by the office, so that I will not micromanage my staff and give them the powers to do the work. And I want to see how I can manage them. What are the things I can use to monitor them? Maybe with the computers, maybe with the camera, anything. I can use to just check on them without me being there. Those are the things I just do.
Good. When you speak to a lot of entrepreneurs, they say to you that, you hear from them that, logistics has a very low barrier to entry, and almost everyone wants to start a logistics business. What's your advice to that young person who's about to start a logistics business?
It has a low barrier to entry. There's the time we did I think Zoom Logistics, a friend of mine, he did a presentation. Logistics is both a curse and a blessing. So it's both. So it depends on how you go into logistics. So the best thing is, yes, it has low barrier to entry, and we need more logistics companies, especially in Lagos. No matter how many logistics companies, the business is booming here. So when you're coming into this business, the best thing is to learn from those that have been here before you. When I came in, I didn't know anything about logistics. So I went to Zoom Logistics, I went to Jan to Gidi, I went to everyone that has been in this business before me. I kept asking questions. They are my competitors, but I kept disturbing. What should I do? And we had an association. So meet with other people, learn.
Oh, there's a logistics association?
Yes, I used to be the finance secretary.
Oh, right.
Of association of logistics company logistics company in Lagos, AUSCO.
Okay.
So I used to be the financial secretary. And at the beginning, we did a very good job. We're still doing a good job to harmonize, but a lot of people are breaking up to different aspects, as you said, low barrier to entry. If you're with people, if you learn, like I and Amanda, a partner of mine, we did a logistics training. It's 3 hours online. It's still available online. And when you learn from others, it will be easier. I think my journey was easier than Ama and Kike and Zoom. Because
you stood on their shoulder.
I stood on their shoulders.
You learned.
There are some mistakes they've made. They told me about that. I didn't have to make those mistakes. So those are the advantages that you get from learning from people.
Thank you so much for coming on Impact and Coffee, Mubarak. Remember, you can send us an email. Our email address is shown on the screen. Or you can reach out to us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. We'd love to hear from you. Until we come your way again next week, go out there and start something profitable.